She's going to tell us why we're broadcasting from here, because it is a very, very momentous occasion. Minister, good morning and welcome to the special broadcast of Morning Live.
Morning, Leanne, and thank you very much. Morning to all the viewers as well. Morning to Tata Mandela, and a happy, happy birthday to him.
Well, I'm going to let you do my job because I'm meant to preview what we're doing here, but I'm going to ask you to tell us, why are we broadcasting from the Union Buildings this morning?
Well, Leanne, we've chosen to broadcast from here to use this particular space as the place from which we introduce the Smart ID card to South Africa. We will be handing the ID card to various leaders of our democracy and those who laid the foundation for our democracy. And of course, what better day to do this except Mandela Day? It's really our way of saying to a person who means so much to South Africa. All of us in government as South Africans, we're saying the arrival of this Smart ID card is really part of that continuing step toward building our democracy, toward honoring our freedom, a freedom he sacrificed so much for. So we thought Mandela Day would be an appropriate day to introduce the Smart ID card to South Africa.
Why did you want to go the route of the Smart ID card? What was wrong with the old system?
Well, you'll remember, and I'm sure all the viewers will as well, that the struggle against the pass laws was a long struggle. And in particular, there was severe hatred and oppression surrounding the passbook. When we got our democracy in 1994, a few years after that, we introduced the Green ID book and thus moved away from that old passbook and had the Green Book as the sign of our freedom. But it continued to have a number of problems. For example, it's easily duplicated. There was a great deal of fraud and criminality associated with it. It wasn't modern in the sense of not being able to be copied. It didn't match up with new developments in the financial sector and other sectors. So we thought, let's introduce technology, let's modernize the Department of Home Affairs and have a card that is in concert with the 21st century and that finally puts to rest the use of a book as a form of identity in South Africa.
No doubt making it easier for South Africans, but we talk about forgery, which is a big issue. Does this card make it more difficult?
It certainly does. We've used the highest levels of software available to develop a secure card. Also, the material for the card is polycarbonate. It's a multi-layered card, has locked within it a chip that has the unique biometric details of the card holder. We use laser engraving for your picture on the card, so we don't have the removable picture nor the plastic that we had on the ID book, which was easily maneuvered and interfered with. This one is impenetrable. Of course, we know all the forgers out there must be trying to dream of a way, but we've drawn on the best technology to develop what we believe will be a very secure card.
I think everybody's excited to get one. I mean, also you telling me a bit earlier how many phone calls you got of wanting to be a part of today. So let's talk about today, and then we'll talk about the rest of South Africa and when they can expect to get their ID cards. You spoke about the former presidents getting their ID cards today. Who else will be here? Because I do know that some of the most incredible ladies, 50,000 women marching here against the pass laws, some of the surviving ladies of that march back in 1956 will be here today.
Well, we've had to be a little selective, really, in that we can't produce a large number of cards at this moment. We are introducing the card to South Africa, and we are in a pilot phase. So we're testing the technology to make sure we get everything absolutely right. But what we thought we should do as a beginning is to recognize those who've laid the foundation for our freedom. So our former presidents of this country, our first president, Mr. Mandela, a family member, will be here to receive on his behalf. Our former president, Thabo Mbeki, and of course our serving president, Mr. Zuma. As well as the deputy president. We've also been able to get the application of former President de Klerk. So all those who've been associated with our new democracy are part of the recipients. But then also those who led the anti-pass march, such as Mrs. Sophie de Bruyn, Mrs. Winnie Madikizela Mandela, and persons who've really, I think, been a signal point in the fight for freedom in South Africa, such as Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu and the Rivonia Trialists. You know, we celebrate 50 years since the Lilies Leaf arrests. So those who are alive and are able to be here are part of that group of recipients. Mr. Ahmed Kathrada, Mr. Mlangeni, Dennis Goldberg. We wish all of them could be here, but we were able to get that grouping. And then we've chosen a group of senior citizens because we think we're going to begin with the introduction of the card with senior citizens in South Africa. So we invited some of what we've called the Mandela generation. These are persons who are well beyond 80 and who've been able to join us. We even have one over 100 who will be receiving their card this morning, and they're very excited to be recognized in this way as, you know, those foot soldiers who are often unrecognized, not remembered, but who sacrificed for all of us and who really, I think, reflect the spirit and ethos of what International Mandela Day means.
Minister, thank you very much for talking to us. I know we're going to be spending the whole morning with you. We're going to be witnessing all of this taking place. We're going to move inside of the Union buildings in a short while, and we'll talk to some of the guests that have already arrived. The former President Thabo Mbeki is here. Ahmed Kathrada is also here, but we'll have more after this. I know we're encroaching on the news headline time, so let's